to you by Booking.com. Since 2010, they've helped over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. That's billion with a B. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com. So are we supposed to start the podcast?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Patriots, gay triots, they triots, black triots, brown triots, and to all of the MAGA that is so wound up about DEI. What can they do, Pumps?
Fuck off!
That's right. That's what they can do. Pumps, what have you had it with?
Okay, what I've had it with bullshit. Don't bullshit me. Don't piss down my leg and tell me it's raining. Just be straight up. This is what I want from you. This is why I'm calling. I got an email. I swear to God. It was like 45 paragraphs of bullshit, 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 bullshit. At the end, the person wanted something from me. I would have appreciated it more if they just said, hey, I know I haven't seen you in 30 years, but will you do this for me? I would be more inclined than effusive praise for 165,000 pages and paragraphs. And then the ask. It's like, don't kiss my ass. Just tell me straight up. I had somebody I haven't talked to in forever text me and say, hey, will you sign a book and send it to me? That was it. No preamble. We didn't small talk. And I was like, yeah, send me the address. Easy peasy greasy. Don't bullshit me for fucking nothing. I only have so much time on this earth left. I can't spend it wading through bullshit.
That's a great grievance, Pumps. It is a great grievance. And there's just something about superficial praise that is so off-putting to me. When people are uber complimentary. If they give you a compliment, you say, oh my gosh, thank you, that's so nice. Then it's time to move on. But when they keep going, it reeks of superficial praise. It negates all genuine concern or praise that person has. And I just find it incredibly off-putting.
Yeah, the sincerity's lost when it just keeps going and going and going, I think.
I couldn't agree more. Okay. So mine isn't necessarily a grievance as much as it is, I'm going to tattletale on myself for something.
Oh, good.
So Josh and I go with our friends Renee and Eden to the Tame Impala concert in Brooklyn. And we love the band Tame Impala. Our lesbian friends that went with us are Australian. Tame Impala's Australian. They did like 5 sold out nights in Brooklyn, right? So I got the tickets and we get to Barclays Center and we go, I asked the lady, I'm like, section 8. And she's like, yeah, right down here. So we go right down and we see the 4 seats and I got the seats that were on the aisle and we sit down. And so a couple of times people were like, you're in our seats. And we're like, no, these are our seats. And they went on some of that typical stuff. And then at one point, one of our friends, I think it was Renee, was up buying drinks. And so there were just 3 of us sitting in the 4 seats. And this girl comes in hot and sits in our 4th seat. And she has a beer and a water and the concert has started. We're like 3/4 of a way through the first song. So it's peak hyper focus at this point, right? And I'm like, that's our seat. And she's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. That is our seat. You can't sit there. And then she's showing me her ticket. I'm like, you're in the wrong section. And I said, our friend's coming back. Like the concert started, you need to go find your section. So she has her 2 drinks, the beer and the water, and she is drunk. And she's slopping like this, okay? And my purse is hung over my armrest. And the beer and the water keeps hitting my purse. And I really like this purse.
Right.
And I just went, God damn it. Can I help you get out of here? I mean, just fucking pissy. Just as twatty as I could be. I just went, God damn it. Like, are you this big of a train wreck, right? So she's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's good. We're good. And I was like, God, that was such bitchy, Jennifer. But I wanted to watch the show and I wanted to secure the seat for our friend. Well, about 5 minutes later, a couple comes up to our seats and they're like, what row are you? I'm like, we're row 7. And he goes, this is row 6. And I'm in these seats. And I'm like,
That's the worst. That is the worst.
oh my God. And so there's the lady that works at Barclay Center and she's wanting to see our tickets. And I didn't save the tickets to wallet. They were just in my Ticketmaster app.
Right.
And because everybody was attached to all of the Wi-Fi capabilities and the antennas and the 5G, I was unable to get into our tickets. Now we're on song 2, which was a banger of a song, right? And we're homeless. And finally, I get up. Renee had season tickets to the WNBA team, Liberty, that played there. So she had the Wi-Fi password for the good Wi-Fi of the arena. So she does share password. I'm able to get in. I screenshot all of our tickets. I go back to the lady that kicked us out of our seat that worked at Barclay Center. And she is like, oh, you're over a section. So we get over. Somebody is in those seats. She makes them move. We get our real seats. And then it occurs to me that girl that I went, God damn it.
It's her seat.
She was probably in the right seat.
Yeah. You were in her seat.
I was, yeah. And I was doing what she did the whole time. And I was acting like I had my shit together and she didn't have her shit together. Now, I do think she could have been in the wrong section entirely. Because I think somebody would have guided her back before the other couple came. But as I'm sitting there and I can't enjoy the second song because I'm really browbeating myself.
Right.
Why do you have to be such a twat? She was trying. Of course, she couldn't hold a glass. She had I don't know why they don't have lids on these things. I don't know what happened to that idea that when you get things at these arenas that liquid's just slopping around.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to tattle on myself that I'm a big hypocrite. I am incapable of finding the correct seats. I basically told somebody off that didn't need to be told off when I was the person that needed to be told off. And so I felt like if I atoned here publicly and I want to tell the girl that I said, God damn it too, I apologize. Profusely. I hope you found your seat. I ended up finding mine, and I'm a bigger asshole than you could have ever been, despite slopping beer all over one of my favorite purses. I still humbly and sincerely apologize.
Here's the thing. I completely get the seat mix up. I've done it. I try to be super gracious in those situations because they happen a lot. But I am a firm believer in just because you have a seat to an event, you don't get to destroy anybody else's property with all your shit. Because this happened to me, well, not me, but I was sitting next to or behind these two guys at a Thunder game just recently. They're shit-faced. They have their solo cups piled up, like 14 deep. So they get up to cheer and they both take their beer all over 2 rows in front of them, like full beers, all over these like old people. And I was just like, enough. Like, if you can't hold your liquor better than throwing your beer on grandma and grandpa, sit it down. Don't drink it. Get a lid. I don't know why these arenas don't have lids. That's a huge problem. We need lids in these places. But like, there's no excuse for her spilling on your purse. It's just not that hard.
Yeah, I think liquids in an arena or a large capacity venue, we need to focus on liquidity safety and keeping the liquid contained, because then you open up a whole can of worms to people slipping, falling, personal property getting damaged, and this whole just free balling with these cups that have this really wide top filled to the very, very top of beer or water, and everything's flying around. It's just a liquid disaster is what it is. Welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie. HBIC stands for Beaver.
All right. And we have Kylie, the producer. Kylie, how's it going?
It's going good. I actually had a recent Thunder game. I sat next to this old lady and we kind of bonded. And she taps me on the elbow and was like, hey, I have this bag. I bring it to every game. Put your stuff in it, like your jacket, your purse, so that when things spill, nothing gets on it. So she let me share her bag with her.
That was nice.
It's genius.
That was really thoughtful. And see, this is just something that's interesting, that people are having to bring a bag to secure the bag.
Right.
Like I think we need to focus on liquid safety and keeping the liquids contained into one device, because you've got a bunch of drunk people, a bunch of hooting and hollering and crazy shit going on. And we just can't have these liquids flying all over the place. Cause then I'm sitting there going, God,
Acting like a complete twat fact.
total. I was just awful. All right. And then she was like, I'm sorry. I go, I know you are. I'm sorry. Like, I got right back in there with her, but I thought it in my head,
Right.
God damn it, this fucking bitch. And it just came out. I was like, oh shit, that was supposed to be internal.
Right.
And it just came right out.
Your indoor
right.
voice came out. It happens
Yeah.
to me a lot.
It's funny that you brought that up because I have a review and it's 5 stars and it says, Jen, I just wanted to write that I was the chick that yelled your name at the Tame Impala show in Brooklyn. You and Josh are such a super hot couple. I actually can't believe how beautiful you are in person.
Oh,
After I fangirled seeing you, I just wanted to write in that you and Pumps are my favorite podcasters. iHip is how I get my daily news updates because I just can't stand the rest of it anymore. And you are both mother. It was so cool to see you in New York. As a native born and raised, we welcome you, and I'm so excited for you to be here. Hoping with Zoran and people like you moving in New York, we'll be back to what it was.
Okay. I think it's safe to say that she was not the girl that I goddamned. Would y'all say that we can eliminate her as a candidate on my ongoing apology to her to find this needle in the haystack of the woman with that I owe this apology to? Thank you. I do remember that gal, and she was so sweet. We were leaving, and she was like, Jen, and we turned and waved, and she was very sweet. And it was the Tame Impala thing. Oh my God! If y'all don't know who this guy is, so Josh and I listen to their music all the time. Great songs. In person, he is such an incredible talent. Kylie, get your ass back in this. You don't get to leave. I was talking to you too. He is such an incredible talent. Oh my God. Kylie, do you like Tame Impala?
I love Tame Impala.
Pumps, do you know who Tame Impala is?
I don't.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving along.
Okay, now let's bring it down a little. 1 star, miserable. Their name is Fuck Your Reviews, and they said, the screeching old liberal white women show. It's as bad as it sounds.
Bring
That
it
is
down.
great. That is great. Miserable. That is so
Look what my cup here right here says. Dried up and
miserable. Right on brand, Pumps.
Yep, nailed it.
Right on brand. Okay, Kylie, do you have any news stories to share with us?
I do have an interesting one. This one says the door close button in most elevators doesn't work. It's just there to make you feel in
I knew
control.
it.
Okay.
I knew it.
This says the door close button you jab every morning, it probably hasn't done anything in decades. According to the head of the national elevator industry, most of these buttons were disabled after the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act mandated that elevator doors remain open long enough for people with mobility challenges to safely enter. Then it says, but elevators aren't alone. As the New York Times notes, crosswalk buttons and even office thermostats often fall into the same category, designed more for psychological comfort than function.
I knew it.
I
And
knew
let me
it.
tell you, it doesn't psychologically comfort me. It psychologically tortures me that I push the closed door button and the door doesn't close. This is psychological torture. I knew they were fucking with us. Pumps, this is your way back into the legal profession
Yeah.
with a class action lawsuit for mass fraud, waste and abuse.
Right.
Wasting our brain cells, abusing us by making us think we are in control and when in fact we're not. And they're like, haha, LOL, joke's on you. The national elevator, what was that thing?
I didn't even know there was such a
The
thing.
national elevator industry.
Okay.
Okay.
Never heard
All
of
right.
that.
But you know what? National elevator industry, fuck you for fucking with us
Mhm.
for all of these decades. And y'all just sitting around at the national elevator industry offices going, LOL. I bet they have little hidden cams in the closed door buttons. They're like, look at this psycho. And I'm sitting there going, God damn it. Just like I did that girl at the Tame Impala concert.
Yeah. I've been with you when you've done it, but Jennifer and I mean, we've said it on the podcast before, but we like to, when we see people we don't want to be on the elevator with, we act like we're trying to keep the elevator door open and hit the door open, but we're really not. It's just like, oh, sorry. But we really,
you see somebody coming, you're like, you see, you're acting like you're hitting door open and you like slide it over and it's door closed. Sorry, I tried to save it for you. Hit the bricks. All right, Kylie left, which I think means that we have a guest.
Excellent.
So we're super excited about our guest. He likes to shit talk. We like to shit talk. He hates MAGA. We hate MAGA. And we're going to have a Who Hates MAGA the Most contest. And of course, I'm talking about Rick Wilson of the Lincoln Project. And I can't believe he hasn't been on I've Had It.
I know. I feel like that's a fail on our
criminal. Completely criminal that we're 3 years into this thing. And we're just now trotting out basically our spirit animal. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Booking.com. Pumps, I've got to say, if you're looking to grow your vacation rental business, this is the place to be. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the entire world, and for good reason. Since 2010, they've helped over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. That's billion with a B. But here's the thing. Most vacation rentals don't even realize they can list their properties on Booking.com. And if you're not on the platform, your rental is basically invisible to millions of Booking.com travelers worldwide.
And nearly half of the hosts get their first booking within a week.
So listener, if your vacation rental isn't listed on Booking.com, it could be invisible to millions of travelers searching the platform. Don't miss out on consistent bookings and global reach. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen. Get booked on Booking.com. I know you guys are going to think I'm a nut, and I probably am, but when I think about the holidays, I think about these moments with my pets, the ones that make the season so bright. And that's why I am joining Chewy Claus, who's out there making pet wishes come true. From November 4th to December 24th, share your pet's wish at chewy.com/ChewyClaus. It could become real and it helps others too. Each wish triggers a donation of 5 meals to shelters and rescues across the country. Submit through the Chewy app and they'll double the donation. A wish for a pet really is the wish that keeps on giving. Chewy Claus is spreading joy. Listener, every pet deserves a wish come true. Send your pet's wish to chewy.com/ChewyClaus and it might become a reality. Plus, your wish means Chewy will donate 5 meals to pets in need. All right, ladies, the worst thing on the planet is wearing a very uncomfortable bra. And that's why Pumps and I are so happy that we have partnered with Honeylove. I'm telling you, it feels like you're not wearing a bra at all. I used to get home from recording and I couldn't wait to get off my bra. Now I realize I haven't even taken it off and it's time to wash my face and put on my pajamas. And it doesn't just stop there. They have holiday outfits, and holiday outfits start with the right foundation. Honeylove bras and shapewear give you comfort and confidence, whether you're in sparkles at a holiday party or in cozy sweaters with family. Treat yourself or someone you love to Honeylove this holiday season. Right now, you can save 20% at honeylove.com/hadit. Just use our exclusive link, honeylove.com/hadit, to grab your discount. After you order, they'll ask where you heard about Honeylove. So please support our show and let them know that we sent you. Celebrate the season feeling confident and comfortable with Honeylove. All right, let's welcome to I've Had It, Rick Wilson. Why the fuck have you not been on this pod soon?
Right. How's this happen?
So I have no idea. It's a damn mystery, but I'm delighted to be with you guys.
We are so happy to have you on. I think the Lincoln Project has been such a front runner in fighting MAGA. And I'm specifically interested that the majority of you or all of you are former Republicans. Is that correct?
Most of us are former Republicans, and just, I was sort of an outlier. I was the first like national Republican consultant in 2015, I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not fucking doing it. And when we came together in 2020, all of us were like, we're just not doing this. We're not your people. And it's funny because we are from that generation. I worked for the old George W. Bush, the Bush senior,
the smart one.
Well, he was a very wise guy. Okay. And it was a different world now. I was joking with an old friend about a year and a half ago. He said, remember when we were in the White House, we used to fire people for being rude?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I do. And now it's like you could be a Nazi war criminal, and they're like, fine, hey, cool, he's one of our guys.
Yeah, it's almost a prerequisite to be an asshole and a bully.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you look at the people inside the White House; they're all trying to be like baby Trumps. They're trying to imitate Trump, or trying to play their own little like sub variation of Trump. Stephen Miller is the worst possible kind of example of that. He's a guy who's never been in a fight. He's never taken or delivered a punch in his life, and yet he gets in there and gets a hard on from putting like kids in zip ties.
Yeah,
it's sick. So
he is so. It's unbelievable to me. And I always wondered, like, who is he married to?
yeah.
And then I'll be goddamned if his wife
Sure
didn't
enough.
roll on to Piers Morgan. And I was like, oh, this totally tracks.
She is. I mean, look, I don't know how Stephen Miller has bred with anyone except in some sort of complicated lab experiment.
Yeah.
But apparently her standards are such that she was okay with that, which tells you everything you need to know about Katie Miller.
No shit. Okay.
It's vile.
Rick Wilson, what have you had it with?
I have had it with this country treating the Democrats and the Republicans like they're two sides of a same coin.
Yes.
Because one of these parties, and look, I still come as an ex-Republican. I don't have to agree with everything in the Democratic Party. I don't. But I do look at the two parties, and one of them is an authoritarian fascist party that wants to impose a huge government control of everything you do in your life, that wants to tell businesses how they should run, that wants to tell women how they should govern their lives, that wants to tell everybody that they have to express the official emotions the president wants. And that's the Republican Party. I'm done with it. And Democrats and the media too often goes, well, the Democrats and the Republicans are just two sides of the same. They're not. The Democratic Party, as much of a hot mess as it can be, does not want to impose a single national standard for behavior on every single human being. They are not out there saying, well, let's round up all those people we disagree with. They're not out there saying the DOJ is going to prosecute all of our political opponents. It is the disservice of people in politics and media who do that. I think it is an astounding failure on their part.
I completely agree with this. And I think that trickles down when the media says that trickles down to the electorate, and you hear the electorate picking that up by saying, well, I'm voting for the lesser of two evils. And the two evils with whom they were discussing is either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, or Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And that corporate media assertion trickles down, and the electorate adopts it accordingly. And I think we're in such a dangerous place. And I've been thinking about this a lot. Sometimes I get mad at the journalists, but I think we have to give a little bit of space to them, because the pressure from their corporate owners is so intense, and they need health insurance, and they need a paycheck, and they're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. And I think this corporate media, takeovers that we're seeing. I just saw, I don't know if you guys saw this, that Barry Weiss was in the room during the 60 Minutes interview when he was sitting there taking softball after softball after softball, and nobody asked him about the MRI.
No, and look, the corporate media thing, I want to cover that quickly, because I'm writing a new book, and a part of that is about this corporate media takeover of everything. When you essentially have Trump allies running CBS, Trump allies running part of the NBC family, Trump allies at ABC, bending the knee, and Fox News, which of course is the creation oven of Donald Trump. I don't want to hear any bullshit from conservatives going, oh, the liberal media. Who?
Yeah.
Where's this fucking liberal media that I hear so much about? Because what I mostly see is an increasing. Oh, and by the way, the social media platforms are run by ketamine Nazi, Mark Zuckerberg, and now Larry Ellison from Oracle, who now owns CBS. So I'm sorry, I don't want to hear any bullshit about this liberal media edifice that's supposedly out there when the MAGA media system is vast and expanding by the minute.
Well, and statistically, they have way more podcasts and influencers and all that. Okay, I have a question for you. You've been doing this a long time. You see, like, well, I mean, you worked for Senior Bitch. You don't look a day over 35. But like the sane washing of Trump, like the sliding into dementia that we all clearly see.
Absolutely.
Biden has one misstep. And I mean, including MSNBC, all of the liberal media, like a media as a whole, just, got right on it, captured it, talked about it. Trump slurs. He makes no sense. He goes off on tangents, and they say Trump had a press conference today, not rambling Trump made no sense in dementia-ridden press conference. Right. What's that about?
Not crazy grandpa shit talks for 2 hours in a rambling long story about some woman he met in high school. It's crazy. Joe Biden had a bad debate night and the world exploded. Okay. That was all that was going to be talked about. There were people who wrote books about it. Hello, Jake. All this other bullshit. And Donald Trump's physical and mental collapse is right in our faces every damn day. He cannot string 20 words together without some wild ass misstatement of fact. I would say that kindly. When he's not lying, his senility and his dementia is so obvious that he does not understand where he is or what he's doing. This is a president who is physically and mentally collapsing in front of America, and he's in charge of 7,000 nuclear weapons. And he's surrounded by people who know this. This is why Russ Vought, Project 2025, and Stephen Miller, and J.D. Vance, and Pete Hegseth, and Marco Rubio are all doing their own thing because they can get away with it. Trump doesn't have a clue what's happening around him, and he's easily led and manipulated by both people internally, like his own staff, and externally, like Vladimir Putin. He is a guy who is physically and mentally knocking on death's door loudly, and we're ignoring it as a country.
I'll tell you who's not ignoring it are some members of the MAGA movement. And as the media ignores it and sane washes what I thought was a master class on how to travel to Asia with dementia when he just did the tour, I thought it was a master class on that. Like
guiding him around like a child.
Right. But I'll tell you who has taken notice. And there are some opportunistic, savvy players in the MAGA movement who are already seeing a post-Kanks America. They don't ever mention him anymore. And I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm talking about Tucker Carlson. Ted Cruz. And they are stepping out, and they rarely ever mention him. They're bringing an economic populist message. They have actually paid attention to the polling of what the American support is for funding the war in Israel, Gaza, and seeing that it's wildly unpopular. And so they use a very simple Trumpian xenophobic argument to make that will hit hard in flyover states, which Marjorie Taylor Greene does this all the time. It's not America first when it's Israel first, and they have healthcare and higher education and we don't. And for somebody who is not a psycho like the three of us that just like is,
well, in my case, opinions vary, but yes.
Right. Ass deep in the political news cycle 24/7, and they see it, they're like, well, she doesn't seem so crazy anymore. That's right. Why are we paying that? And it's not that Marjorie, she doesn't give a shit about Palestinian kids. No. She's an anti-Semite.
Yeah. Look, the MAGA folks that see this coming, that see this, they understand that Trump will die someday. Actuarial tables are 100% undefeated in all of human history so far. And when he goes, they don't know what world to build. And yes, there is an anti-Semitic underpinning in the MAGA movement. There's a part of it that is wildly anti-Semitic. There's a part of it that doesn't understand how to differentiate between Bibi Netanyahu and Israeli citizens. There's a part of it that looks at that classic sort of populist nationalism and says, America first, bring it home, don't spend money there, spend money here. And it's a longer argument for those people to have in their heads, and they're not good with long arguments. You can see the political motivations of, again, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tom Cotton. A lot of these people are looking out into the future, not just 2 years from now, as we wind down the Trump administration, but 10 years from now, where they see a party that he managed to really reshape in his image, and they don't know how to unfuck it.
Right.
They don't know how to make it viable again without him on the ballot. And that was, Trump rarely tells the truth, but last night he came out and he said, Trump wasn't on the ballot. That's why you lost. That was not an inconsiderable reason. That was a factor. He pulls out these lower propensity voters that ordinarily wouldn't come out to vote, what we call ones and twos. Voters are scored on a 1 to 5 scale. Fives vote in every election, ones vote and only when it's a celebrity. He pulled those people out, but the rest of them can't. And trying to sell Trumpism right now to regular human beings in America, it's like, here, have a delicious shit sandwich. It doesn't work.
Right. Exactly. No, I think that he is a lame duck, and some Republicans are treating him as such. Of course, Moses Mike Grinder Johnson will go down with that ship. He will. He is.
He'll go down all right.
But I wish that the Democratic leadership would ride this vibe right now and make the argument that you made at the top of this podcast. Look, Zoran's a little further left than I am, but we're not like Trump. He won his primary fair and square. And we listen to the voters of New York, and we hear the affordability argument, and we're here to support him as a party because we're a big tent party. New York's a little more liberal than the rest of the country. So it makes perfect sense that he's a little bit more liberal than I am personally. Cory Booker, Chuckles, they all should have. I went to the party, the Zoran party. They all should have been there because establishment Democrats go hand in hand no matter what it is. But they weren't there. They were AWOL.
I mean, these guys, they will snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory every single time. I'm done with it. I know I should be more polite about it, but I cannot deal with Chuck Schumer and this instantaneous, like, I will send a sternly worded letter that will teach Donald Trump a lesson.
Right.
No, it won't. Fight him to the death.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They are playing two different games. The Republicans and the Democrats are playing two different games. And when Kanks was out there saying they're going to make D.C. a state and Puerto Rico and they're going to stack the court, I think if I was Hakeem and Chuck, I would stand up and go, you're goddamn right. We're going to do every fucking bit of that. We're going to do all of it. As fast as you moved, when we get power back, we're going to move faster. And Merrick Garland fucked up, and Joe Biden fucked up by not appointing a fighter in that position. You're goddamn right. We're going guns a-blazing on all of that shit.
I got to tell you, I mean, I think the Democrats should be promising right now, we are going to dismantle Project 2025. We are going to dismantle Doge. We are going to hold the people in these masked assholes from ICE and DHS who are zip tying kids and kicking the doors in on the homes of American citizens without a warrant. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to cut off Kristi Noem's jet. We're going to not let her boyfriend, Corey Lewandowski, run this shit behind the closed doors. We're going to drag Stephen Miller up here for 1,000 fucking hearings. We're going to get every document. We're going to go into the White House with a chainsaw. We're going to find every secret of this bullshit that's going on. We're going to go into all these corporate donors to the fucking ballroom, and they're going to be sitting in front of committees in the House and the Senate, and they're going to get their heads caved in over and over again in public to explain the corruption and the cruelty and the bullshit that's going on and the criminality in this country. Democrats need to show America they've got some fight in them. One of the other things that I've had enough of is like, they're like, well, we'll focus group this policy statement and no one will be offended. No, go in and punch bad people in the face over and over again. And yes, does everybody like that? No. But do Americans respond when you fight for them? Yes, they do.
Yes,
Well,
that's why Trump was president twice. Even though
Yes.
he lies through his teeth, he gives the appearance, I'm going to go fight for you.
Yep.
And the focus group situation is what I call pick me politics.
Oh.
And if you try to
That's
be
good.
a
I'm going to
pick,
steal that.
if you try to be a pick me politician,
Mhm.
you're going to be milk toast. Nobody's going to like you. Nobody's going to dislike you. They're not going to have a strong opinion about you at all. When we had Cory Booker on the podcast, he made an argument that nobody really knows who Chuck Schumer is. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. And I thought about it since we filmed. And I thought, you know what? Every motherfucker in this country should know who Chuck Schumer is, because I know everybody knew who Mitch McConnell was. We all knew that turtle, mini stroke,
Yep.
train wreck. And everybody should know who the Democratic leadership is. They should be household names.
Yeah.
And the focus group situation is so embarrassing. I read an article that said that they had focus group that the Democrats shouldn't talk about LGBTQ plus rights. And I'm like, you dipshits. Andy Beshear talked about it and he won Kentucky twice. Zoran Mondani threw zero groups under the bus and took on billionaires, and people fucking loved it for him because he believed in something. And you would much rather vote for somebody that believes in something that is a pick me politicians. And the Democrats play this pick me politics, and it drives me fucking crazy.
That moment. One of the weirdest moments of my time at Lincoln Project in 2020, before he passed, I had one conversation with Harry Reid. The old world of Rick Wilson talking to Harry Reid is like, matter, antimatter could have never happened. But he said something to me in that conversation. He says, listen, he goes, there have been three great Senate leaders: Lyndon Baines Johnson, myself, and Mitch McConnell. And Mitch McConnell was a great Senate leader in the minority or the majority because he always had a plan. And he didn't care how to get there. He had a plan to execute on it. And that is not Chuck Schumer. God bless him. I mean, maybe the guy is a lovely person. I don't know him personally. Maybe he's a lovely man. But we are at the point now where fighters are necessary.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be in a world where more diplomats were necessary. But right now, street fighters are necessary. And that pick me stuff is. I'm so stealing that line. That's a great.
You can have it. You can have it.
But the pick me thing is so true. It's like they don't want to offend anybody. And so what you end up with is something that might have worked in the beginning, but it gets ground down and it get like, there's no salt in it. There's no spice in it. It's all like vanilla paste. Hey, there's nothing wrong with vanilla paste, but it doesn't convince anybody. It doesn't make the world go, wow, okay, this is a different idea. These people are going to do something that I agree with or that I feel strongly about. You just get this like mush, and that ain't it, folks.
No.
That ain't it.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. How worried are you about the midterms coming up? You see, the gerrymandering and all that, but outside of that, Trump is now saying, well, if you do what I say, they'll never get back in power again. I'm like, I know it's corrupt. I know it's illegal because that's his MO.
So he wants to do this filibuster thing. And I will say this, John Thune came right out today and said, I don't have the votes. He goes, I don't have the votes. You got to have 2/3 of the Senate. That is a real high hill. You're not going to convince 12 Democrats to join the Republicans and pass an into the filibuster. It's not going to happen. And in some ways, I want to encourage them in the fucking filibuster so that when we take the Senate, see how it rolls. But they're not going to do that. And so he's stuck there. The redistricting stuff, look, California, the Prop 50 last night passed with 1 billion to 1. Virginia now has a supermajority in the House of Delegates. If you all want to play fuck around, we got Virginia now and California and Maryland. Wes Moore came out in Maryland last night and said, well, you know what? Now the election's over, we could do redistricting too. How'd you like that shit?
Love him.
And in a lot of Republican states, Kansas now, Missouri, and Florida, they've all basically said, yeah, we can't really pull this together. So everybody needs to step back from the table, put the guns down, and let us have a regular old bar fight with a normal election. I think the redistricting stuff, there may still be some screw around on that, but the overall climate of the year right now, we are looking at an election that is driven by three things for 26. Democrats now have a pathway to talk about affordability, the economy, jobs, families. That isn't culture war. It's nuts and bolts. Hey, I'm going to get these roads paved. Oh, think about that. I mean, that's crazy, right? We're going to put new roofs on the schools. That's, all this basic stuff. The second thing is Donald Trump is the most unpopular president of our lifetimes. And I'm 62 years old, and I went through the numbers in my entire lifetime. There has never been a less popular president at all. And that is a drag on Republicans because they defined themselves as the Trump party.
Right.
These members of Congress, they're not the Republican member from the 3rd District of Illinois or whatever. They're the MAGA candidate who serves Donald Trump. So they're stuck with him. So as his numbers have gone down, their numbers have gone down. The economy is killing them. The tariff war is killing them. The shutdown is killing them. All the polling blames them for what Trump has done. And finally, and I think the biggest thing here is Donald Trump will not be on the ballot for 2026. He's not going to be on that line. And so these low propensity Republicans who are now sort of becoming dispirited and unhappy are like, fuck it, I'm staying home. And we also saw in New Jersey and Virginia last night, the Lincoln Project style Republicans, the moderate Republicans crossed over and voted for Sherrill and for Spanberger.
Love it. So on the economy, I feel like the Republicans need to make a big shift in the manner that they talk about this. Not the Republicans, the Democrats need to make a big shift on the way that they talk about this. Republicans have always undeservedly gotten the accreditation that we're so good with the economy, we're fiscally conservatives, and it's a total heaping pile of bullshit. It is.
I can tell you, as a Republican, that's
an
ex-Republican, that's a pile of bullshit.
Right. It is one of the biggest lies that has been perpetrated on the American public that Republicans are fiscally conservative and that trickle down economic works. And that propaganda where we are from, Oklahoma, it hits really hard with Lincoln Project style Republicans. They say, I'm fiscally conservative and I'm socially liberal. And the Republicans do a really good job for doing decades-long propaganda that embeds into the electorate 100%. To take credit for things that they did not earn.
Right.
The Democrats operate under assumption politics. We assume nobody is going to vote for Donald Trump. Well, they fucked around and he won twice. Right now, they are ignoring Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I keep screaming from the rooftops, we have a fucking problem here. And they just assume nobody's going to vote for her because she's the crazy QAnon Jewish laser lady. And I think Democrats have to start messaging Republicans fuck up the economy every single time. Then they need to message, how many big red cities can you name? How many big red cities that are economic hubs that are, big donor cities? Name me one big red city. You can't fucking do it. No. And the Democrats need to start doing this. And it makes me fucking crazy that they're playing patty cake at Congress talking about stupid shit.
Let me break this down into two parts because you made two really good points. First off, Marjorie Taylor Greene is craftier than people are giving her credit for.
Yes.
I don't think she's smart, but I think she's crafty. And there's a difference. And crafty in politics is Donald Trump's not smart. He's crafty as fuck. Okay.
Right.
He is a sly motherfucker when it comes to emotionally powerful things with the base. I think she's crafty, and I think she's playing a game right now where she's going to say a little bit of like, I was drawn into MAGA because of my good heart about helping poor people, but it was a lie. Now, here's the real me. I think it's bullshit, but I think that's what she's playing at. I want to say this, though, about Democrats and economic messaging. They have for too long come out with policy papers and big, thick briefing books and slide decks in PowerPoint. So here's our plan. Read chapter 7, appendix 4, and you'll be convinced. It's what I call the Ezra Klein theory of politics. You know what? When Ezra Klein's like, you may think you know about toboggans, but the history is, there's a joke about that. But it's like they need to speak to people in America in American. They need to talk about jobs in ways that aren't wrapped up in some weird policy statement or some catch-all bill that nobody really understands. Because as good as the Inflation Recovery Act was for a lot of things, nobody understood what it did.
Right.
They never sold it in plain English to regular people. And I think that there's an opportunity for Democrats right now because Silicon Valley and private equity and Wall Street and all this enormous wealth in this country at the very top is expanding 1,000 times faster than families in this country. Real wages in this country creep, and the value in private equity and Wall Street and Silicon Valley leaps vertical every day. And I think there's a way for Democrats to start saying, we got to build an economy that isn't just guys who have a summer home in the Hamptons. We got to build an economy that isn't just weird ass guys in electric cars in Silicon Valley. We've got to build an economy that in farm country and in manufacturing country makes sense. We got to build an economy that gives a shit about real people. We got to train people for real jobs. We got to educate people for real jobs, and stop trying to make everything into this hyper sophisticated, like I said, the Ezra Klein argument. People don't need all that nuance and back of the room think tank bullshit. They want to hear real talk. And,
and it speaks to how the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Donald Trumps use very simple languaging.
Yes.
And I think if the Democrats were to go into deeply red places and say, we need an economy that isn't built on lies. The Republican Party has lied to you. They've used their faith against you, and they've tried to create a boogeyman for you to hate. And who you should hate is that 1% who they're always Donald Trump riding around his golf cart saying, I'm lowering your taxes. You've been lied to by the Republican Party. And have some fire in it and keep it very simple, keep it very black and white. But I agree with you. It is this, when we have some of these Democratic politicians on the podcast and you ask them a question, which is a fucking layup for them to answer.
Right.
And then 30 seconds into the answer, I'm like,
yeah, it's like, well, as in my role on the subcommittee for toilet seat standards, I can tell you we passed several bills that would improve the possibility. No, stop it. And there's a classic American fight of small against big. Right. Americans were always the small against the big. And that's the Great Depression. That's World War II. That's all these things in American history. I think reframing this, because the Democrats as the party of big government is a lie, but the party against big entitlement and big wealth and big control and big tech and big insurance and big banks, that's a pathway where they can go out and Americans will go, those are my guys. Those are my guys. They're going to go kick the shit. Elon Musk does not need an 8th private jet. He does literally have 8 private jets, by the way, just so you know. He doesn't need an 8th private jet. If he's worth $1 trillion fucking dollars, well, then he can pay 5% more in marginal taxes every year, or pay marginal taxes at all. There's a lot where they've got a cast of villains to run against now, because Republicans also say, well, if you raise those taxes, it's going to be mom and pop on Main Street who pay the price. It's bullshit. It's a lie. But Democrats never wanted to tell that story evocatively.
Well, and I think here's an important message that the Democrats haven't messaged, and the Republicans have done a very good job. The Republicans have spoke about privatization and how important it is and how much preferable that is. And the Democrats have not offered an alternative, which the facts are aligned with their policy. If you are for privatization, then you're going to be on a Boeing and your door of your airplane is going to fucking fly off because there's been zero regulations on that. Yep. And it's better for you to have these services that are a matter of life and death in the hands of people that aren't doing it for profit. Because every time it's for profit, look no further than the pharmaceutical industry, the fertilizer industry, the military industrial complex, the tobacco industry. 12 times out of 10, they're going to dick you over and they don't give a shit if you or somebody you love dies, but the government does. And the Democrats have not offered a defense. And that's why the public was so down with all of these normal, everyday civil servants that worked for the government getting fired, because the Democrats have never explained how life-saving and important those jobs are. Is there room for cuts? Yes. But I believe it was somebody that worked under Elon Musk that they interviewed that said, I was actually really surprised at how efficient the government was, and I didn't find that much waste.
I years ago, a guy who was the Secretary of the Air Force was a friend of mine, a guy named Don Rice years ago. We were talking about this one night, and he said, here's what Americans want. They want a government that's smaller, smarter, and better. And I think those all could be done I think the Democrats could run on those three things. We do have bloat in the government, sure, 100%. We could do things a lot smarter, 100%. But we could also craft a government that is more about taking care of things that people need in their lives. During World War II, we provided childcare because women had to go to work in the factories while men were fighting the Nazis. We did things in our country that today, people would say, oh, that's communism. But you know what? I look at the rest of the world and the things that they do for people. And if we had a structure in our country where this absolutely incomprehensible amount of wealth that has been generated from private equity, Wall Street, and Silicon Valley was accountable at all. And I say this from a conservative economic perspective. These guys get a free fucking ride on regulations, on taxes, on everything. We support and basically fund them and provide them with an enormous amount of wealth and protection. When the banks went tits up in 2008, wasn't those poor fuckers who lost their houses and were upside down on their mortgages who got bailed out? It was JP Morgan.
Yep.
All this.
And the airlines, the airlines have been bailed out. The
airlines, I think, have been bailed out like 5 times in my lifetime.
And what an important message that the Democrats should be crawling all up like Moses Mike Grinder Johnson's ass. This is what pisses me off.
He would like that. No, you don't turn him on. He's going to have to report you on his porn app.
It pisses me off too that Democrats don't call, because the Christian nationalists brought faith into the political discourse. Mm-hmm. And I think Democrats need to respond to that, to say, this guy's your example of Jesus, the guy that's the pedophile protector that doesn't do anything to fight for young kids to eat. And they need to call it out directly. Hakeem did a few days ago. He talked about the pedophile protection program. And I was like, yes, more of that. Now take it further and call him a Christian hypocrite. Because when they quit playing pick-me politics and they put a little fight in their step, it works. And I remember, always. And y'all probably do too, in 2015, when Trump called Ted Cruz Lion Ted and Marco Rubio, Little Marco. I loved it. And what was Jeb Bush?
Low energy Jeb.
Low energy Jeb. There was something at the beginning of that. Nobody ever thought he was going to win or go anywhere. We all assumed because assumption politics. But there was something refreshing about calling out these fucktwats that just lie to us all the time. And I wish the Democrats would start doing that.
The passion that you want to see in a candidate. Too often the consultants are saying, now you need to be a statesman right now.
Right.
I was very successful with a lot of candidates when I was a political consultant because I told them, you have to show fight. You have to show people what you're going to do. You can't, don't be the diplomat now. And sometimes you have to punch the other guy in the face. And then they would hesitate. Oh, I don't want to do that. My country club members would not like it and I always had one line. I'm like, so here's the deal. On election day, you're going to feel terrible if you lose. And if you do these things, you're going to feel terrible if you win, is what you're telling me. But do you want to, on election day, have the title scumbag or the honorable scumbag? Because the honorable scumbag gets to go to Washington and be in the fucking Senate, or gets to be the governor, or gets to be a member of Congress. And a lot of them, thankfully, chose the honorable scumbag route. But it is a fight. You have to show people that you will fight. And you have to call out the things that you see. And Trump's greed and corruption and selfishness has become the brand of the Republican Party. Democrats have not figured this out yet. They still think, well, we're going to run against this guy in this district because, we were looking at his vote on the things Trump has done are unpopular with 2/3 of the American people.
Right.
And by unpopular, I mean like radioactive waste unpopular. And it's just an open opportunity for them to go in there and speak American to people. Bill Clinton's speechwriter was a guy named David Kuznets. He wrote a book called Speaking American because Bill Clinton used small words, easily understandable, spoke to people at a 7th or 8th grade education level, and they found it persuasive. Trump does the same thing. Democrats abandon the multisyllable words to get across.
What do you think, as a political strategist, what do you think about the way Zoran ran his campaign?
So look, I think, like you mentioned yourself, Zoran's a little to my left, but his campaign, just from a technical perspective, was brilliant. It was disciplined every day. He communicated where the voters were, which is social media, which is earned media and press. Look, voters in New York do not spend their day locked onto their television set. You're commuting, you're working, you're around. It's not that kind of place, but they do get their news from their phones. He ran a campaign that was mediated by this camera again, by the phone. So he used social media brilliantly. His affordability riff over and over and over and over again worked to build up a pad of support for him. Yes, he won Brooklyn by 80%, but he also overperformed in Queens, which is a more conservative part of the city. He overperformed even on Staten Island. He didn't win Staten Island, but he did better than anybody thought, because the affordability and economics cuts across every ideological boundary right now. The higher price of groceries, it's unspinnable. You're looking at that bill when you're in HEB or Publix or Whole Foods or whatever, and you that's not spinnable. So families feel that, and when he talked about it over and over and over again, and when you see New York as this city with this insane wealth on the top end, and people who, a middle class family in New York now has a $300,000 income, and it's impossible to raise a child there. And so he kept that discipline and that focus every day. He also was a happy warrior, which counts in politics. People, you see certain presidential candidates, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, they were happy warriors. Reagan was a happy warrior. Bill Clinton was a happy warrior. George W. Bush was a happy warrior. And, things got shitty on September 11th, but he was a happy warrior in the campaign in 2000. Barack Obama was a happy warrior. Pessimistic candidates have a much harder hill to climb. And this being a change election cycle where people want a change, Mamdani was able to run against Cuomo, who basically functionally became Trump in the race.
Right.
And he ran a brilliant campaign. I mean, there's just technically a lot to learn from it. The branding was great. The logos were great. The music and the video composition was great. And people felt like they knew him. He became a friend to people through the social media stuff, and they liked it a lot. Now, being mayor is a hard fucking job. Right. It's the hardest job in America. I know this. I was a senior advisor to the mayor of New York at one point, and it is a terrible, grinding, often depressing job because it's a big old city and things go wrong every single day, and you don't get the luxury of like, I'm going to have my big plan for the day when a cop gets shot, or a building collapses, or a school gets catches on fire, or whatever. And that stuff happens every minute of the day. So, yep, but brilliant campaign, though.
Listener, the hot book of the summer. Oops, I have it the wrong way. Take two. Listener, the hot book of the summer is now the cool book of the fall. It is, in Trump's America, I can tell you with absolute certainty, the best book that has ever been written. And believe me, a lot of people are talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it. It took us one day to write it.
Because we're
on day one.
Because we took a cognitive test and it was book, write, done.
All right. Anyway, please buy our book. It's a great way to support us. It is a really fun read for the fall. Curl up with your pumpkin spice lattes and just enjoy living the American dream in dipshit Trump's America. Listener, have you ever found the perfect couch or lamp online and then it's total sticker shock? And it's like, oh my God, I want that look. I want that lamp, totally out of my budget. Well, I have a secret I want to share with you. I use dupe.com. It's simple. Just type dupe.com / before any product URL, and Dupe instantly shows you similar and more affordable alternatives. It's perfect for finding the best deals for your holiday shopping. $5,000 sofa, that $1,200 designer bag, or $800 statement light fixture you've been eyeing, Dupe finds them or something nearly identical for a fraction of the price. And it's no wonder that Dupe is going viral all over TikTok. For a limited time, the first 10,000 people who go to dupe.com/hadit will get 500 Dupe points instantly, redeemable for gift cards, no catch. But spots are limited, so don't wait, listener. That's dupe.com/hadit for 500 free Dupe points today. Use your Dupe points and gift cards to make the most of your holiday shopping. You have to go to dupe.com/hadit. This ad is brought to you by Vive Healthcare, the makers of Apertude, Cabotegravir.
You never skip your SPF, and you carry hand sanitizer like an accessory, but what are you doing for HIV prevention? One way to help protect yourself from HIV is Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of getting HIV in adults and adolescents weighing at least 77 pounds.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. Bring your A game and talk to your doctor. Learn more at apertude.com or call 1-888-240-0340. Okay. We're ready to play our world famous game called Had It or Hit It. Oh my God. Welcome to Had It or Hit It. I would hit it. Had it. Had it. I hit it every day, sometimes twice a day. Had it or hit it, internet trolls.
I hit them.
Does that mean you like them?
Listen, it's not that I like them or hate them. It's that I understand that they're a sign that the other side is pissed off at you and that you're doing your job.
Yep.
So hit them.
Hit it. I like it. I see. That's helpful. I like it. That's a winning attitude. That is the brand of fuck you politics that I need in a leadership position right now.
You know, as I like to say, make me Democratic chair for a week. I will change the entire party. It will not be pretty, but it will be fun.
No, we need to embrace, get rid of integrity
in
politics and head straight into fuck you politics.
Yep.
People are craving it. And that's what the focus group is never going to pick up on.
Correct.
Okay. Had it or hit it, Florida.
I'm a 5th generation Florida man. My granddaughter is a 7th generation Florida woman, but I have had it.
Yeah.
I live in North Florida. I'm practically Ron DeSantis' next door neighbor. I love my state on some levels, but I've had it. It's such an ugly place now, both spiritually and physically. It's it's overdeveloped like crazy. The politics here is so ugly and cruel and shitty. And I hate saying that, but I've had it.
What's going on with Kitten Hills? What's he up to? I mean, he thought he was the big heir apparent to Trump, and I haven't really seen that tough guy or his Kitten Hill around much at all lately.
You know, here's the thing. He did not understand that Trump would never let him back in the circle.
Right.
Because Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, used to work for DeSantis. And DeSantis' wife, Casey Macbeth, I call her, Casey decided Susie Wiles had to go and humiliated her publicly. And Susie Wiles has never forgotten that. And she pisses in Trump's ear about DeSantis all the time. He's dead, but he's too dumb to lay down. Yeah. And I've had it with him.
Yeah, he's over. I did see him, though, very recently on Fox News. And you know, he has that weird mouth. He has no riz. People talk about how, yes. So he is on there. I swear to God, during the interview, he's sitting there going, he's like really trying.
Oh, yeah, you can see it in the frame. Like, I will now run human program 7. Smile fetchingly.
Normal smile. Yeah, exactly, Rick. It's really inauthentic to say the least.
Oh God. Yeah, the guy's he's a hot wreck, hot mess.
that photograph of him with the white rain
With the
boots
boots.
on.
Yeah.
That is just, I mean, it is just absolute perfection. And it tells you that when you are a politician that paints over pride sidewalks, if you would have had a gay person on staff, they would have never allowed you to be in front of a camera in those ridiculous.
I have a theory
superhero
that is
suits.
related to that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Is that his staff hates him.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Has to be.
That is my theory. His staff hates him, and
They have to.
he is an incredibly unpleasant person. Incredibly unpleasant. And will never be president. He's just there's it's just poison.
Yeah. Okay. Had it or hit it. Trump's ballroom.
Oh God. Had it. I wrote a piece right after the East Wing was torn down. I mean, when I was at the White House, the East Wing was this beautiful historic place. It was a symbol of American generosity and graciousness and hospitality. And, and that place would be, one day it would be a team of junior high basketball championship girls. And the next day it'd be astronauts. And the next day it would be Nobel Prize winners. And the next day it would be, kids working in an apprentice program. And it was a special historic place, and the obscenity of him tearing it down in the 10 years of Trump, other than January 6th, I can't think of something that made me more emotionally angry than that. That it was just such an obscenity, and it's such an arrogant Saddam Hussein like ego thing.
Yeah.
Just really infuriating.
Did you see where now, because of the advanced dementia, that they have in gold lettering put on the outside of the Oval Office, it says
Yes.
the Oval Office. And it's like, you fucking dipshits. It's
Right.
rounded. Everybody fucking knows that.
Everybody gets it.
Third grade.
Everybody gets it. These people, this is like an insane medieval king. They all know that he's not the guy in power anymore. He still has that ability to command, but everybody knows this game is ending.
Yeah.
This game is winding down. And
It's curtains.
and none of the people around him, by the way, who are getting away with murder right now, quite literally in Stephen Miller's case.
Yes.
Democrats, if you let them go, you are fools. They will spread the virus if you don't hold them to account when he's gone.
Agree.
You think they wouldn't? You think that they would ever fucking blink if an Obama or Kamala Harris did something to the Oval Office?
Let me tell
like
you,
that. That's
tell you,
before we even get into the war crimes. And
if I was Barack Obama and I put up Temu whorehouse decor stick-on gold leaf bullshit all over the Oval Office, Fox News would be running a 24-hour thing, the desecration of the White House. And there would be people in the street with pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
Because there's a Southern word that my grandmother used to use, gradu. I don't know if y'all know that word. But
we say gradu in Oklahoma.
Right. Well, the gradu all over the White House is a sign of his dementia also.
Yeah,
he wants
I
to
agree.
be somewhere that looks like Mar-a-Lago, so he's comfortable. It looks like his Liberace Bukkake spooge glitter fucking
Marie
whatever.
Antoinette.
In Trump Tower.
I also have this theory, Rick, that the real psychotic planners that are thinking long term here, that want to dismantle the Constitution, they realize, let's give him projects. We'll give him arts and crafts projects, and he can have show and tell with the billionaires in the Oval. He can build his ark. He can do his ballroom, and we'll keep him occupied with the Lincoln bathroom.
100%.
While Russ Vought, Stephen Miller, and Peter Thiel
and Steve Bannon.
Where they really fuck it up, because they know that if they do not consolidate power in him right now, they do not have an heir apparent that can go win a real election. You think JD Vance, the failed drag queen, is going to win a general? Fuck no. And Kitten Hills, everybody hates his ass, so
JD Vance is a guy who is really trying to play act charisma, and it ain't there.
No.
And the whole Erica Kirk, JD Vance thing is just weird.
So gross.
It's so weird. The way that whole thing is rolled out has just been so bizarre.
My favorite, some woman on Instagram, she's like, "Ooh, Usha, you in danger, girl."
Okay, Rick Wilson, last one. Had it or hit it, the United States of America.
Hit it. I'm keeping it. I'm going to fight for it. They're going to carry me out feet first out of this fight, most likely. You know, I'm going to keep plugging away for this place because we are the inheritors of a tremendous gift. Our country didn't start out perfect, and we have millions of people who have sacrificed their lives on the battlefield and in the streets and in courts and in Congress, and who've tried to build something that honored the Constitution and the founders and the sacrifices that generations before us have made. And I absolutely refuse to give that up to this petty tyrant and his scuzzy little minions and this grotesque movement that they think is going to replace the republic and American democracy. Just won't do it.
Yeah. I love that. We'll leave it there. Rick Wilson of the Lincoln Project. Thank you for all of the work.
Thanks so much for both of you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was so fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm so glad that we collabed, and let's just keep fighting them. Let's keep pushing the Dems to do a better job, and let's just keep ridiculing the fuck out of these fucking
tyrants. Hate ridicule. That's why I deliver it hot every day.
Love it. Rick
Thanks,
Wilson,
guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, I just think he's fantastic.
I cannot believe this is just now having him on. I like everything he does. I want to see it.
And he delivers the what the Democrats haven't tapped into, which is this kind of rage, with status quo politics, with MAGA, with Democratic establishment. He's a very good communicator. And I think his idea of going to run the DNC, doing like a 2-month little stint there, I'm all for that. I think that could be something unorthodox that they need to try to get off of the focus groups and all that bullshit. All right, Pumps, tell our listener about our book.
The hit book of the fall that's going to take you into this holiday season. If you have a loved one that you love and care about, give them a copy of this book for their reading pleasure. It's also available on audio. And is that it? Write a review.
Yes, and that's a great idea for it to be a gift. Life is a lazy Susan of shit sandwiches to your loved ones. And we will see you all next Tuesday or Thursday.
I'll tell you what I've had it with. Let's hear it. I've had it with that.
Listen up, patriots, gaytriots, and natriots. We have a new podcast that has dropped. It's called iHip News. It's Monday through Friday, every day, 15 to 20-minute hot takes on the political landscape of the United States of America, always served with a side of petty grievances.
We are on all the available platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you get your podcasts, and YouTube.
Please go rate, subscribe, and review so that we will chart upwards with America's greatest legal mind. Pumps, what does an eagle say?
Caw-caw.
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Caw-caw.
That's it. That's
caw-caw.
That's the patriotism that this country needs right there.